in a time where people are getting ripped from their families and the economy is crashing and there's an all-time job crisis here in the States, I think it is time for some Positively Pink and Psychological with your host, Miss Sugar Pink. This week, I'm not going to be holding my mic because I'm going to be multitasking. I am going to bead embroider while I do this. So here's where I'm at. My boyfriend to wear on Valentine's Day. Don't worry, he already knows it exists, so it's like it's a spoil. So here's the little. It's supposed to be like a heart of gold coming out, like emitting out. It's not done. And then up here I have a little kiss mark. So I will be working on the kiss mark while we talk about ways to ground ourselves during this very, very, very hard time. Because, the other night I was thinking, and it's a very, very hard time right now. I know I've said that, but it really, truly is. And I was sitting and I was thinking, and I was like, oh, I'm really excited to record. I'm really excited to record. And I was kind of thinking, like, why? Like, I try to think very introspection, like I live with a lot of introspection and retrospection. Like I think a lot like why do I do this and why am I excited and oh like what could be a reason and how can I make it like stuff like that. I think very thoroughly and I was like, "Oh, why am I so excited to record?" Like I was wondering and I realized it's because like this is kind of like a grounding exercise for me like every week because I'm trying to be positive and I'm trying to help other people out and I'm just kind of talking, but I want to talk in the right tone. I want to be appropriate. I want to use less filler words. I'm being more like I'm being more intentional with what I'm saying. It's kind of helped me ground every single week. So then I was thinking, okay, like because I was like, oh, I don't really know what this week episode's going to be about. And last week's episode was a bit like depressing in a way. I was kind of defeated, and that's how I was feeling. So that's what I posted that week. But this week, I'm feeling a bit more hopeful for the world. I think that that performance with Bad Bunny and how he said like, "Oh, together we're America," and oh, like that's what the football said, and it was all about like being united, and it's what I was really trying to say. Like um last week, and granted it wasn't on such a grand scheme of things of like world politics, but I was just talking like wow, like he says like oh, and there's like that banner that said the only thing stronger than hate is love, and like that's really what I was talking about last week, is that we really need to practice being more kind and loving to each other. And I think that something that's really 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 important is doing that for yourself, is doing things that are good for your own sake, like just because you want to do them. And I think that one of the first things that comes to mind is unfortunately the economy is crashing and the job crisis is at its all-time high. Like we're literally, well, I don't, that's dramatic, but like it's pretty bad out there right now with AI and the lack of entry level jobs being taken away, or because they're being given to the middle people, and now we have no entry level jobs for any graduates and stuff like that. Like, and just all those different unfortunate reasons that I personally don't want to get into. And you can watch another video essay about that if you are interested in learning about it, because I am. I just don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about some ways that we could be productive in this time. So something that first comes to mind is, well, of course myself, you have the bias of thinking about who you are and being a little bit selfish in a way. And my first thought was the amount of people in the arts who are taking that chance and they're starting because they can't get another job. They can't get hired, or they can only work part-time right now, and they literally, no matter what they do, they cannot get another job. Um, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna be stuck, at least I just dropped a beat. If I'm gonna be stuck, then I might as well try. Like there's nothing to lose right now. So that's why I started actually seriously posting on my Instagram. I've tried multiple times, but this time I was serious and I've been keeping up with it. And I was like, you know what? Let's hold myself accountable. Let's start a podcast. So then every week I have to post something because that's gonna keep me accountable. And then here I am. And then I was like, you know what? I want to start talking about projects when I'm in my podcast because that's going to hold me accountable. I'm going to start doing more art. And here I am. And just all these different things that I came up with myself for how to do it. And it's how to like live with the situation. And the truth is, life sucks right now. It's really, really, really hard for about everybody I know. Even if your life is good, even good things are happening to you, just the politics of the world, watching people get ripped from their families and grocery costs going up and not being able to afford rent and just all these different things. Like it's a very, very hard time. And the silver lining of that is I'm seeing people like try. And it's amazing. It's amazing and I it really, really, really inspires me, and it's really kept me inspired about trying to do my own art thing. And granted, I don't really know what I'm doing just yet and what I want to do, but at least I'm trying and at least I'm doing it, and that alone is progress. So I find that the silly little things that come from bad situations are always really, really hard to keep in mind, and they may seem like I'm not thinking about the severity of our situation, but the the reality is that we're still human beings. We can do a whole lot to stop the system, and we can protest and we can do all these things. And you're right, and we are, and that's what's happening. And our world is hopefully going to come for a big drastic reform. I could really, really hope that we're about to go into that process, but at the end of the day, we're not robots, just like all the AI commercials in the Super Bowl. We are human beings. We have to go to sleep and we have to eat. And if we keep sitting here and we keep thinking about all these terrible things like I do, if you keep sitting here beating yourself up about the situation and not doing enough, or the fact that the economy is so bad, then you're only going to get worse. And I'm not saying, like I said, it sounds like I'm sitting here and saying, like, you need to stop stressing out. Like that's not that serious. Whatever. Whatever. That's not true. The situation for everybody right now is totally different. I'm just saying that because there's nothing you can do, then let's try to do something nice for ourselves. And I think that's why I've just been so ecstatic to see people trying and taking a chance, because it feels like, you know what, well, the world's going to end anyways, or the government's going to shut down anyways, or global warming. It's silly, it's scary, these terrible things are like, these things are terrible, but at least it's kind of humorous to think that people are like remembering their, like, that, remember, what's it called, their humanity, like that they can do whatever the fuck that they want to do. And I saw this quote recently of an artist who posted, oh, my needle came off, posted to a skeleton drawing that they do, and I cannot remember their name, but I can add it in the description box down below. But I it was it was a skeleton, and they were in a field, and all it said was, "What if you don't exist in the future you're so worried about?" And you hear that a lot, like, oh, you could die tomorrow, like, oh, whatever, this and that, like, you need whatever, you need to live your life. I said that a lot last week. I've been saying that a lot on this podcast, but I never had thought about, like, oh, that kind of wording. Like, what if I don't even exist in this future I'm so scared about? I don't know what I'm going to do. I feel so unknown, like, there's so many unknowns. I don't know what I'm going to do with the job, if I'm going to use my degree, if I'm going to go back to school, like, all these different things is such an unknown. And seeing, like, the fact that it's like, oh, that's true, like, I literally don't even know if I'm gonna, like, experience that that life I'm stressing out about right now. So I need to start living in the moment right now. I need to start being like, oh, okay, like, I don't know, I just need to start learning how to manage my stress, and that's so much easier said than done. I am one of the most stressed people that I know. Like, I literally am always constantly stressing about something. Like, I recently bought myself some new shoes, and I was like, oh my god, I'm a terrible person because I'm buying these shoes that are going on sale, and I want to treat myself and I want to have something, and I've been looking at this shoe brand for literally years about how much I want to buy shoes for them, but people are in such a hard time right now and they can afford rent, but I could buy shoes. Like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I bought them, and you know what? I couldn't even make it until they get here. Like, what if I die before they even get here? So it's like, I need to calm the fuck down, and I need to just exist. I need to just exist in the world in the time that I have right now, and learn that there's, like I've said before, there's no amount of stress that I could have that's going to stop anything. And it's like, I know that's so much easier said than done. Like, I'm still learning it, but reality is, if the economy is terrible and groceries are bad, you sitting there and stressing out about it is not going to fix anything. It's So what I'm saying is I'm trying to find us ways to be like, okay, I'm stressed right now. I need to help. I need to find a good coping mechanism rather than what you, if you're me, you're sitting there and you're ruminating on it, beating yourself up, being shamed, guilty, terrible, all these terrible feelings. You're just beating yourself up over and over and over again. You're not thinking productively. You're not taking steps in your own hands. You're not trying anything. You're not taking shots. You're just sitting there and ruminating it. If you're anything like me, that needs to stop and it needs to be more productive, and that's kind of what I'm just thinking. And I think that going back to like my stressors, and I'm sure some people can agree with this, is just relate to this, is just like not knowing what I'm going to do with my life and not and barely feeling like I have a 6 month plan because there's so much uncertainty in life right now. So it's hard to even plan for this summer because I work in semester in a years school years. So I like won't have a job over the summer and I can either go back to my job in the fall or I can get a new job. And it's like I'd love to get a new job, but is it real? Is it true? Is it really going to be able to? And like should I start looking now? But is that going to affect the kids if I leave in the middle of the semester? Or should I wait till the summer? But like jobs don't really hire in the summer, so that's a big gamble. I'm probably gonna have to go back in the fall, and that's gonna be hard on them. Starting with one teacher and immediately having to get a new teacher, like I'm just like thinking about all these different things. And the reality is that simple Billy, I think it's Billy Joel song where he says he's like that Vienna, slow down. You're doing fine. You can't be everything before your time, or something like that. And I know that's so cliche. I know it's so overplayed. I know everybody knows that song. But I think that if you just listen to it, if you let yourself just slow down, like, and just think, like, and just live in the moment and take it second by second and minute by minute, then things will start falling into place. It's like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this podcast, and I just kind of started it, and maybe these episodes are pretty bad right now, and maybe I'll look back at them and be like, because I don't really have a structure to them like I want, and I don't really have the time to have a structure for them with the if I want to keep doing all the other things I'm doing, like these art things I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing everything right now, and just like throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks, and that's okay because at least I started. I think that it's really easy to constantly think yourself out of anything because it's easier to give up and it's easier to stress yourself out than it really is to start, because you know how comforting it is to talk to a friend and be like be like ranting and be like, oh well, I can't do this because of this reason, there's a million reasons to not do it and all this stuff. Like you could find it's so easy to just be in a little comfort bubble with your security blanket and know where to go, and you just stay there. But it doesn't have to be this big scary change. It doesn't have to be as drastic as it seems. It really can be smaller, and granted maybe yours doesn't seem that way, but I bet if you sat and you thought about it, there's small things that you could do. And I don't want to sit here and I don't want to listen to you come up with more reasons to be negative, and I don't want to listen to you say that I'm a terrible person because I am not thinking about reality. And you're right. You're right. The reality of life right now is it sucks. You're right. But what do you get out of sitting in that festering anger, sadness, whatever it is? What do you get out of sitting like that? What do you prove to you? What do you prove to me by proving me wrong that whatever trying to positive thing that I'm trying to say or different way I'm trying to think about it? What do you get out of that? Like I don't get it. Like why do you have to prove me wrong? Why do you have to be so angry all the time? You can just choose not to be. You can go down and with a smile on your face. Like I don't know, I when I was really young, granted maybe this is why I am the way I am. When I was really young, I heard the saying like something like, "Oh, if you get slapped in the face, you should turn the other cheek so they can slap the other one too." And I don't know, I've kind of thought about that, and I think that really made me who I am today in multiple different ways. But in the way we're specifically talking about right now, it makes me think like, oh, like I get really stressed. I'm not acting like I don't. I definitely get overwhelmed and stressed. But there are some things that I have grown to learn to just kind of accept and move on. And it's not a lot of things. I'm still learning. I'm still trying every single day to become the person that I want to be. But there are some things where I'm like, you know what? All right. And then I move on. Like my job is really frustrating. Like there are a lot of factors that make the job very difficult. And you know what? I could sit there and I complain about it every day, and that could potentially make me feel better, or I could just take it and go home and not think about work again. Like I could just go to work and be like, all right, whatever, what do we have to deal with it? Learn how to adapt, be quickly with it, go with it, and then move on because that's what I chose. And like, I don't know, I chose to do that because it just made my life more seamless. Personally, for me, complaining makes me feel like I need to sit there and fester, and it makes me like think about it, and I get angry, and it doesn't help me feel better. It just makes me think I feel better. So learning how to adapt and learning how to actually just like go with the flow and be like, "Oh, you know what, whatever." And there's times where I'm like, this sucks, this is annoying, but I still do it because that's what my job is. That's that I have to. It's my job. So if you start thinking about your happiness being your job, then you'll start choosing more things. Be like, oh, well, I have to be happy. I want to be happy, so I need to do this. And so then you're like constantly, I kind of thinking about it, like how I used to think that, like, not used to think, something I used to think about a lot was how, I don't know if it's a saying, I'm sure it is, but the idea like that happiness is fleeting, but you can choose to chase it. So I think that a lot of people are like, oh, happiness is fleeting. Everything's a cycle. It goes up and down, blah, 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 blah. And you're right, it does. And especially if you have mental health problems, I think there's definitely times where it goes up and it goes down really fast and really hard. But every day you can wake up and you can choose to chase it. You can choose to be like, "Oh, I'm having a really hard time, but I'm going to try to do this to be happy, or I'm going to do this to cope with it, or you know what, I'm pissed right now." And then you let yourself feel that pissed. You let yourself feel it because the only way you can get over it is if you actually feel it. There's no thinking yourself out of a feeling. There's no rationalizing it. There's nothing. If you're mad, then be mad. Just be mad. Cry if you're upset. If you're frustrated with the economy, then be frustrated. But then be happy. Then be content or peaceful or relaxed. If you're going to choose to have this kind of coping mechanism, it needs to actually help you cope. You need to actually start to feel better. You can't just sit there and ruminate and cycle. It sucks. Life sucks right now. It's hard. There's so much going on. But what little you have, you need to hold on to it. You don't know when it's going to get ripped away from you. You don't know when you're going to lose. You don't know if you're going to die tomorrow or tonight. You don't know. So instead of living in this anxious cycle, and then instead of creating a new cycle and being like, I could die tomorrow, just be like, so I need to live in the moment right now. I need to do this right now. Because I think I think especially I feel so passionate about this is because it's a very big phenomenon to see young women saying that they're very full of love. They're very full of love, and that's why they want a boyfriend, or they're just very full of love and they don't know where to put it and all this stuff, and it's hard. Their life is hard because they have just so much empathy. But those people are very often the same people that are so mean to themselves. They're perfectionists, or they're beating themselves up over something silly, or they're just never proud of themselves. They're never happy with where they are in life. And I think that a lot of people can struggle with that, but I think especially those people that are like, I'm so full of love, I want to give love, I have so much empathy, they're the meanest to themselves. And it's like, if you're so full of love, then use it. Utilize that love for yourself. I think there's just this big pendulum swing of between people where they're either like, oh, protecting their peace and they're making all these boundaries and they're not actually like doing anything and not creating community and not any like showing any empathy at all, to and too much and being a little selfish, to then the other side of it is people who are too selfless, but in the terrible way of that they don't ever do anything for themselves, or like a people pleaser or a doormat, or they just let like, I don't know. It just makes me sad that they have so much love to give other people, but they don't have any love for themselves. I think that a lot of people would describe me as someone who's very honest, because I definitely am. I think I've been given the adjective blunt a lot as well. I don't really agree with that. I think that blunt is honesty without compassion, and I personally think that I try to give a lot of compassion when I say things. But if people want to call me blunt, then that's their prerogative, and it doesn't affect who I am as a human being if that's who they think I am. But I used to be so scared all the time of saying how I actually felt or doing anything because I was like, oh, well, what if I hurt their feelings or this is that or this and that or I'm sorry that I did this or blah, blah, blah. Like, oh my gosh, like to the point where I wasn't a human being and I was just a people pleaser who did whatever the people, whoever I felt needed pleased. But what you don't realize is when you act like that, you're like one of the most selfish people because you're only doing that because you want to make yourself feel better. You're only apologizing 9,000 times because you want someone to give you reassurance so you can feel better. You're not actually sorry for them. You're not actually trying to people please them. You're just trying to people please yourself. So all these people say they have so much love and they want to be so like such an advocate for other people and they want to help the other people, but I'm like, put that into yourself. Like put your air oxygen mask on before you put somebody else's on. You're not a martyr. You're not going to get brownie points for that. You're going to just be unhappy. You're going to be miserable. And you don't get any brownie points for that. I think that like I have like grown to feel embarrassed that I'm someone who loves the cliche sayings and I love affirmations and I love self-help books and psychology and learning how to be better and journaling and all of these things. It's like, wow, people talk like that. It's a certain type of person. I could never be that person, but it's easy. You could very easily be nice to yourself. And I just think that's what we need right now. And I think that people are gonna see this and they're gonna immediately blow me off and they're gonna say that I'm not thinking about reality and I'm not thinking about how, oh well, you're saying this because your life is not that hard or your life is not that easy. And you know what? Your life probably is harder than me. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to go through that. And if no one told you today that they loved you and that they're proud of you, well then I love you and I'm proud of you. I'm sorry that life is so hard right now, but there's no reason to be mean to me, to your family, your friends, to yourself. There's nothing productive about that. Just like that Bad Bunny said at his Super Bowl concert is the only thing stronger than hate is love. So I need you to take all these terrible, terrible things that are going on and I need you to put it into something productive. And for me, that's making art. And, I've come to realize where, you know what? I don't have everywhere to, I don't have, I just want to make art. Like, I don't need to make it for a specific reason. I don't need it to look good. I don't need it to impress anybody. I don't need it to do anything. It can just be done and it can sit in a box because I think that people are so unhappy right now because we're really sitting on our phones because it's so much easier to numb our brains when life is really, really hard. But our brains only get more upset the more we consume and the less that we create. And whatever creation may be for you, creating amazing memories, taking photos, making art, cooking, getting massages, watching TV, whatever that it is, you're not doing it. People don't watch TV anymore. They don't watch movies. They don't make art. They don't go hang out with their friends. There's no community being built anymore because people aren't taking the steps to do it. They're just trying to prove to themselves or other people that they're in a hard time. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's a hard time. But it's not going to get any better if you don't let it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you're going to sit there and you're going to ruminate about how hard it is, and I have so much sympathy and empathy for you and I feel terrible, but if you're going to be mean to me, then what's the point? Why should I feel bad for you? You're sitting here, you're crying for help, but nobody's going to help you because you're digging the hole deeper. It's counterproductive. It's terrible and it's upsetting to me. And I want I want it to be better. So make stupid art, go hang out with your friends, have a Galentine's. Galentine's is on a Friday. And if you're like, it doesn't matter what that means to you. In Valentine's Day, if you don't have a partner, then go hang out with your mom, go hang out with your parents, go hang out with your family, go hang out with your friends, go do anything. Create a memory, try to do something. I have wanted to plan a party so bad. And you know what? I called my friend Stella and we planned our Galentine's and she's like being very gracious and she's hosting and I'm helping pay for the craft that we're doing, and I brought all the supplies. You know what? I did spend money on it. And I don't care if I spent more money than her or whatever. Like it doesn't matter that the people who are coming in and spending me money, because I want to be there with them. I want to see them and I want to love them and I want to hear what's going on in their life, because Valentine's Day is about love. It doesn't have to be anything else. Whatever you give weight is going to have weight. So love each other and love yourself and just be happy. And love can be anything. It could be a friendship, it could be a family member, and it could be a relationship. And I think that we all just need a little bit of love right now. So I hope this weekend you take yourself out to dinner, or you hang out with your friends, or you order in, or you play that video game you've been wanting to play for a long time, or you make that stupid thing that you think is so stupid and you make it, and you try something new and you be bad at it. You fail at something and you get back up. It's a 3-day weekend for a lot of people, so you have a lot of time. And I hope that you do it. I hope I see you next week. Stay sweet.